Yes, everybody, welcome back to Talking Walls. Welcome back to an update video on the channel. I hope you guys are keeping well and have enjoyed your weekend so far. A little bit of an update on what's been going on over the last couple of days. Incoming news has slowed down a little bit. Obviously, we know Jean Arias is on his way. I did a full-length video on him on Friday if you want to go and check that out. We will talk about a couple of players, but over the last couple of days, it's slowed down a little bit. We've had lots of comments from Vitor Pereira, which I'll dissect a little bit as well. And, of course, we'll have some of the outgoing news as well. As always, be sure to smash the like button. Let's try and get 400 likes on today's video and subscribe to the channel. Extremely close to 20,000 subscribers now, so hopefully we can get that within the next week or so. But we'll start off with yesterday. It was our second and final behind closed doors friendly in Portugal. It was against fellow Premier League side Burnley. Nothing was really confirmed before that game against who it was actually going to be. I saw a few whispers of it potentially being Burnley, but I hadn't actually seen anything concrete, hence why I hadn't mentioned it on here beforehand. But it was a 1-1 draw for Wolves. Jürgen Strand-Larsen getting the goal, the assist by Keanu Hoover. I'll flag the team up on the screen right now. Starting team was fairly strong, to be fair. Obviously, when the changes came just after the 60-minute mark, Burnley scored pretty much straight after that. But the starting team was okay, not too bad. Jean-Rickner Bellegarde playing out of position at left wing back. Obviously, still without Hugo Bueno and Rodrigo Gomez right now. Leo Lopez then came on for the last sort of half an hour or so in that role. Really well worked goal. Brilliant run on the right hand side and a lovely ball in for Keanu Hoover. Jürgen still had a bit of work to do, but a lovely improvised finish. With Keanu Hoover getting quite a lot of minutes in these last two games, it's raised the question and a little bit of discussion on social media in regards to him and his long-term Wolves future. He'd been given the opportunity under Vitor Pereira, so it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with him this season. There's a possibility in my eyes that he stays. He's homegrown. Pedro Lima, for me, you could argue he was at fault for the goal that Burnley scored. I think he has to be a little bit better defensively. I think he has to be playing football, Pedro Lima. I like him a lot. I think I've been pleasantly surprised whenever I've seen Pedro Lima play. But I think at his age now, he probably needs a real full season playing football just to improve and progress, really. And if he does that, Keanu Hoover can stay in the team as a homegrown option. Got experience, played pretty much a full season in the top division of France last year. So who knows? But I'm sure a lot of us will have more eyes. I'm sure he may well get the opportunity again next Saturday as we travel to Stoke in a friendly as well. But other than that, obviously that brings the Portugal leg of pre-season to an end. Wolves will be back in Compton this week. We'll have a few more players back. Hopefully Jean Arias will show as well and maybe be a part of that team next week against Stoke. But we've had lots of quotes. Vitor Pereira sat down with the press a number of times. Quite a lot in Portugal. We've got the guys from Express and Star who are out in Portugal exclusively as well. Have done a few bits, and I'm sure we'll have a few bits that are posted over the next day or so as well. But it's weird because it's, again, has sparked a lot of discussion amongst the Wolves fans, because a few days ago there was an article in Portugal where Vitor had sort of made out that he was pretty disappointed with how the transfer window was going so far. And of course, as you would expect, then a lot of fingers are being pointed at Fosun and so on. He's had articles released over the last day or so with the Express Star and with Outgoing in Portugal, where I think he's sort of calmed down a little bit. I think he's probably realised that what he wants and how the transfer window works are probably two slightly different things. As any manager would, they want their team to be fit, ready and ready to go basically from the 1st of July. I think Vitor has appreciated that. He's made certain quotes over the last day or so where he knows the club are working hard to get players in. I think the original quotes where he was a little bit disappointed about the movement in the transfer window were pre-Jean Arias agreement as well. So I think he knows that, you know, there is work being done and there will be players to get in. And like I said, I think every single one of us, me, any of you guys watching, will of course be, you know, if you're in a job or you're a football manager, of course you want a full pre-season with your whole squad. But we know for any Premier League team, it doesn't tend to work like that. You still see transfers come in. You know, there's deals that get done on deadline day, and yes, sometimes they're panic deals, but then you look at it and think, why couldn't we have signed this player 6 to 8 weeks ago? It's just how it works. It's how teams negotiate, and sometimes it's how you get the best deals for these players as well. But Vitor, yes, there was talks. I saw people saying, oh, he's going to walk away. You know, Lopetegui, although he you know, a lot of people were under the impression that he just walked away. He got a massive payout from Wolves. Wolves lost a lot of money on Lopetegui because they had to make a mutual agreement because he said, I don't want to manage this football club anymore. So Wolves still had to pay a lot of money. Julian Lopetegui didn't just walk away from Wolves with nothing. And people are saying Vitor Pereira is going to do the same. And he's made it pretty clear that it would be impossible for him to ever turn his back on football, on Wolverhampton Wanderers Football Club, because of the connection he's got between the club and the fans at the moment. So he wants to compete. He doesn't want to be competing just with the bottom three. Vitor said he wants to be competing with the likes of Manchester City and Arsenal. He wants to, you know, I think he's realistic in the fact that this year he wants to push for mid-table and then grow from there. He says it's daft for us just to be aiming for Europe straight away this season, which I think is completely fair enough. So I think he knows work still needs to be done. There's contract talks still on the table at the moment. That's not the forefront of Vitor Pereira's mind and plans at the moment, but he wants to stay at Wolves. He says he's in a really good moment of his career. He likes it here in Wolverhampton. He likes it in the Premier League as well. He made comments in regards, and I've seen this a couple of times this week, in regards to the positions that he's still going for, because if you remember in January, he was quite persistent on a number of positions, and in the end he got those. Marshall Monetti came in, and albeit may not have been Vitor's first choice, but certainly I think contributed towards one of the reasons why Wolves stayed in the Premier League. But Vitor has said we need wingers, which is his way of saying wing backs, which I think we all know. We need at least two more players up front. Maybe Jean Arias fills one of those. We need another midfielder. I don't know if we need a player at the back, left-footed player. So basically he wants cover for Totti. So another midfielder, which I think I agree with, especially with some of the news I'll mention in a second. Two more players up front. One of those maybe Jean Arias. And then your wing backs as well, probably on both sides. But yeah, Vitor, I think some of the comments earlier this week wound fans up a little bit. Not to Vitor, but obviously it rolled fans up saying, why aren't Fosun back in this? Because I think we do all have a lot of affection towards Vitor Pereira with what he achieved last year, with the things that he's saying. But yeah, I think we just genuinely got to be patient. And there's no point in us all getting het up and wound up about the transfer business. I know, we all know it's only a few weeks till the Premier League season starts. But just give it time, and I think it will all just fall into place quite nicely. We've got a really good guy in the dugout, and I think he's, you know, when the players are back in England, when he's back in England, can have proper discussions with people. I think that's hopefully when the wheels will start to turn. One player that may still come to Wolves is Mark Pubil. I've mentioned him a couple of times on videos over the last couple of weeks. The Almeria right back. It said that Wolves are ready to close a deal for him, but of course there is interest from other clubs. AC Milan is one of those clubs. The Spanish right back is waiting to see what AC Milan's offer is before committing to either club. A lot of people have sort of taken this the wrong way, saying, well, he doesn't want to join us. Which, of course, you have every right to think in that way. We have been stung like that in the past. Gonzalo Guedes is one. Patrick Atrone is another one, where they're players that haven't really wanted to come to Wolverhampton Wanderers, and obviously it hasn't really worked out. But for me, what it is, you've got two teams that are interested. Rather than quickly jumping at one team, maybe just wait to see what the other team are offering. So it may well just be the fact that Mark Pubil wants to see what AC Milan are offering before fully committing to Wolves, which, you know, I think I would do the same if I had two job offers on the table. You know, I'd probably do the same. But AC Milan seem to be stalling and taking their time on this. So in the next couple of days, hopefully, we see a little bit of progression on this deal. But that story was broke by Fabrizio Romano. And Fabrizio Romano and other big journalists have already reported on Wolves' interest in Mark Pubil. And that could be a player that fills the right back role. However, you've then got Rodrigo Gomez, Pedro Lima, Keanu Hoover. Something's got to give. So some players are going to probably have to move on. But I still think right wing back is an area that Wolves will have to strengthen in some capacity. Especially as Nelson Semedo now is pretty much gone. Vitor has made it clear, probably in a couple of interviews, to be honest, that he's gone pretty much. And Vitor has said that he has a lot of time. He was very honest with Semedo. Both parties were honest, had a good relationship. He was a good captain at the club, but he's very disappointed with how the club have waited or have been made to wait for Nelson Semedo's contract decision. So I think Vitor has pretty much made it clear that ties have been cut between both parties now. We may well see the farewell video from Nelson Semedo in the next day or so as well. And in regards to a captain choice, Vitor said he's not going to rush that. He's going to take his time with that. We've seen a couple of captains already, Totti Gomez and Matt Doherty, probably most in particular over the last couple of games. So we'll wait and see who ends up getting that armband. But we'll probably see throughout the next few weeks different players get the armband. And yeah, we'll see who gets it in the end. But Boubacar Traoré was a player that was left behind. I said on this video a couple of weeks ago, or a week or so ago, that he was being planned to get loaned out. Now, there are a couple of teams in Europe interested in signing him, but his former club Metz or another club that are interested in possibly signing Boubacar on loan. Probably the wages at the moment is going to be a sticking point. I don't think he's on a huge amount of wages, but Metz probably don't have the financial flex to match what Wolves are paying him right now. But again, Boubacar back to France is probably a move that I would expect. He had a lot of interest in the past from the Netherlands, from the Eredivisie, so that could be a move that happens as well. But his former club Metz, probably quite a natural environment for him to go back into, get comfortable and start playing football again, because to be honest, his Wolves career has just been hampered by injuries, to be honest. Another player who, again, similar situation, really struggled with injuries over the last 12 months is Bastien Moypieu. He signed from to Wolves last year, just under €5 million. Has struggled at the start, had little spells in the 21s, but again, really needs to be playing first team football. It's said that he's closing in on a season-long loan to Alversa, the same club that Chiquinho recently moved to as well. So it looks like Wolves are getting these players moved to teams in Portugal. Are these favours for Jorge Mendes before he does something very, very special for us? Who knows? Because another player that has completed his move to Portugal now is Joe Hodge. We said it before that it was pretty likely that he was going to be going to Tondela out in Portugal. That move is now confirmed, and he has gone there on a permanent basis. And finally, another player out on loan is Lewis Benjamin. The under-21s goalkeeper has completed a season-long loan to Chester FC. A good level for him. And fingers crossed he can do the business. Got high hopes. A lot of people have got high hopes for Lewis Benjamin, so hopefully he does the business. And he's a very good goalkeeper for Chester this year. And well, I think that is all for today, guys. I've covered a lot. I know I've gone on about Vitor Pereira quite a lot there. I was just seeing if there was any other pieces of news that I've missed out on, but I think that is all. As always, I'll be back over the next couple of days with some more updates. Hopefully there's some more positive news for us Wolves fans. And I've got a nice little special mini type podcast coming out in the next couple of days or so as well. But keep an eye out for that. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll catch you on the next one.